Yeah, can you read Karthi from here? Yes,
From which paragraph? From however?
Yeah.
Okay. However, the perfect spiritual concept of life is complete knowledge of one's constitutional position, in which one knows enough to devote to himself in the transcendental, loving service of the Lord. One must know that he is finite and the Lord is infinite. Thus, it is not possible to actually become one with the Lord, even if one aspires for this. It is simply not possible. Therefore, anyone who has any desire or aspiration of satisfying his senses by becoming more and more important, either in the material sense or in the spiritual sense, cannot actually relish the real sweet taste of devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore compared possessing these bhukti and mukti desires with being influenced by the black art of a witch. In both cases, one is trouble. Bhukti means material enjoyment, and mukti means to become freed from material anxiety to become one with the Lord. These desires are compared to being haunted by ghosts and witches. Because while these aspirations for material enjoyment or spiritual oneness with the Supreme remain, no one can relish the actual transcendental taste of devotional service.
Hmm. So life is complete knowledge of one's constitutional position is the perfect spiritual life is concept of our understanding of constitutional position, that is to be servant of the Lord. Because that is not clear, then we think in terms of many different ideas. Like somebody may think, okay, I merge with the Lord, or when I get liberated, you know, they have no individuality. All these ideas, or I become nothing. All these ideas are actually, because of lack of transcendental knowledge. One doesn't have proper understanding. So understanding, one must know that he is finite and the Lord is infinite. It is not possible to actually become one with the Lord. So, propose examples. Like a parrot may go to the tree. Somebody may say, "Oh, the parrot has merged into a tree." But then understand that both may look green. The parrot is going in the tree, and he's just sitting somewhere in the tree. Same way, when a divinity may also go to spiritual sky and may not go to some planet because of his not having attraction for the loving service of the Lord right now. Even if he goes to some Brahmajyoti or spiritual sky, it does not mean he becomes one with that. He still remains an individual particle there, individual soul. But because of having lack of understanding of personal, concept of the Lord, so they may not be qualified to go to the spiritual planets where they can have pastimes with Krishna. They can enter into the pastimes of Krishna. Well, because of lack of their spiritual realization. So anyone who has any aspiration for satisfying his senses by becoming more and more important, if the material and the spiritual sense cannot actually realize the really sweet taste of devotional service. Mm. So in spiritual life, we are not trying to become important. We are trying to make Krishna the center and he being more important. Let him be worshipped and known by the entire world. That is our agenda is. But when we seek our own personal gratification, personal enjoyment, so that's all we used to we're not getting the actual taste of or joy of serving Krishna. So we have to make Krishna the focus of our life. It's not about me, it's about Krishna. It's about pleasing Krishna, serving Krishna. Then says, Srila Goswami has therefore compared positing this bhakti, material and mukti, desires with being influenced by the black art of the witch. That means our mind is not proper. We don't have right understanding. In both cases, one is in trouble, actually. That means if you are desiring material enjoyment, you are not able to have true happiness. When you desire liberation also, you cannot have true happiness. Only when you want to serve Krishna, then only you can find true happiness. So bhakti means material enjoyment, and bhakti means to become free from the material anxiety and to become one with God. So yesterday we discussed elaborately how when we are trying to perform devotional service with the intention to only free from material anxieties, it may be like, actually we are tinged with the desire of liberation, mukti. So our focus is not to just get rid of material anxieties or material miseries, but we actually want to see how can I make Krishna happy and Krishna serve in peace. We want to experience the joy of serving Krishna, not joy of getting rid of miseries. Joy of serving Krishna is much greater than getting rid of joy and miseries. For example, see the mother now, when she has to take care of the kid, small baby, there's so much misery. She may not just sleep in the night. Child cries anytime. Correct? Very, very miserable, apparently, to the mother. But you tell your mother, tell the mother, okay, give up this child, give it to somebody, donate it to somebody. Get rid of the misery. You will not have all the troubles. And she will accept or not? What do you think? Will she accept that? No. She won't. He will say, I don't want the joy of getting rid of this miseries. I want the joy of serving my child. That is greater. There will be some joy getting rid of all the trouble. And there is joy in serving his child, offering it up to child. But the joy of serving and caring for the child is much greater than joy of getting rid of all those troubles of serving and creating, night test and lost and so many things. This is how in Bhakti, the joy of serving Krishna is much greater. The devotee is ready to take some trouble also, because there is some trouble in serving Krishna. But joy of serving Krishna is much, much greater. Correct, no? Any reflection?
I really like how you constantly emphasize that it's beneficial for us to continue to celebrate Krishna and how it brings us joy for sure. I really like how you emphasize that throughout that explanation.
You like that?
Yes, yeah.
Great. When you're going to settle, Tejas?
Sorry.
When are you going to Seattle?
May 9th.
And when the exams are starting?
When am I sorry?
Exams?
That is my last day of exams. Then I'm
Already
done
exams are
with them.
going on?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh, okay. When you're in Seattle, we can connect more maybe.
Yep.
You're in first year, no?
Sorry?
You're in first year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let us read. Venu Prabhu, can you read this next paragraph? Ravneet, you could hear the last example which I gave about mother and child. You were there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. I joined them, like, you were explaining about, you were giving that example.
No, I gave the example of mother and child. You heard that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So suppose it is said that, okay, let Gaurangi go somewhere else, you know. So you will get joy of getting so much of freedom from troubles. Like then you can sleep nicely, you can do all your work nicely, you can balance everything. Trouble will be less. There's a joy of getting rid of trouble. But there is joy in reciprocating with Gaurangi, taking care and everything, right? The joy of taking care of Gaurangi is greater than joy of getting relief from all the trouble which you are getting while taking care of Gaurangi, or joy of getting relief from all the trouble by taking care of Gaurangi, what you are getting is greater than joy of taking care of Gaurangi with all those troubles.
Like any day, joy of taking those trouble to serve Gaurangi will be better than any other thing.
Correct. So then we can say in an ordinary world also, in this mundane world, when we have some affection, consider. So how much for devotee? That's why it clearly has proved that joy of serving Krishna is greater than liberation. Correct? And at the cost of liberation, there is no service to Krishna. Okay, I'm getting freedom from all the troubles. And that there is no joy of serving Krishna, then devotee does not want it. Correct? Like you are getting free from all the freedom from all the troubles of taking care of the Gaurangi, but there is no service to Gaurangi now. There is no affection. We cannot have exchange of Gaurangi. Then we don't want that. Better you have trouble and have Gaurangi to serve. Take care.
Yes.
Same way, a devotee is okay to have even troubles in life if he has service to Krishna. No problem. Because that is much greater than even freedom from troubles also. Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you can focus on serving Krishna. That way you get the highest happiness, which is more than joy of getting freedom from all those troubles. But if you are having the objective to serve Krishna, but if you don't have objective to serve Krishna, you are only having troubles in life. You are not serving Krishna. Then you are having trouble only. Then you are suffering only. The suffering doesn't depend upon the trouble. The suffering depends upon not having service to Krishna.
And how can we serve to Lord Krishna?
By chanting Hare Krishna Mantra, by the guidance of devotee, bona fide devotee. Bona fide guru can guide us.
Hanji.
By following the instructions. Then Guru wants us to chant, read Gita. Then we live our life as an offering to Krishna. Because the consciousness of pleasing Krishna, serving Krishna will be there in every aspect of life. Even if you want to take care of the child, it will be with that intention to that, this child, let this child becomes a nice devotee. Let me care and offer my love and affection and samskaras in a way that becomes a great devotee. So every aspect of life then we want to please Krishna and serve Krishna. But it all begins with chanting. Chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So hearing and chanting is the first. That's how it begins. Yes, Tejas, we can read further. That's why every day we should chant Hare Krishna Mantra. Every day we should try to have some sessions, some reading, and offer bhoga to the Lord. ABCD, associate with devotees, book reading, C chanting, D diet, prasadam, and ease engagement. Some service to the Lord should be there. Some kind of service we should have. Yes, Venu, Prabhu, you like to read?
Okay. A pure devotee never cares for liberation. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to Krishna, my dear son of Nanda, I don't want any material happiness in the shape of many followers, not immense opulence in wealth, nor any beautiful wife, nor do I want cessation from material existence. I may take a birth many times, one after the other, but what I pray from you is that my devotion unto you may always remain unflinching.
Read
The
the next
atten-
paragraph. He can read.
So the attention of a pure devotee is so much attracted to glorification of the Lord's pastimes, name, qualities, forms, etc., that the devotee doesn't care for.
Yeah, so when you're chanting the name of the Lord, when you're hearing katha, when you're meditating upon the Lord's qualities, then you automatically become so filled with happiness, then you don't care for mukti. You're not so much concerned about mukti because you're getting so much of taste, you're getting so much of satisfaction and happiness in just relishing those service to Krishna and in hearing about him, chanting his name like that. Yeah, Shiva Bilanga Thakur.
Srila Thakur has said, if I am engaged in devotional service unto you, my dear Lord, then very easily can I perceive your presence everywhere. And as far as liberation is concerned, I think liberation stands at my door with folded hands, waiting to serve me. To pure devotees, therefore, liberation and spiritual emancipation are not very important things.
Yeah. As far as liberation is concerned, I think liberation stands at my door with folded hands waiting for to serve me. Pure, therefore, liberation and spiritual emancipation are not very important. You see? So we are not so much concerned about liberation. We're concerned about getting attracted to glorification of the Lord. So that's what we should focus on. So whenever we don't focus on that and we are only remaining with our troubles and problems, then how can we have any hope then? So, but somehow the bhakti is so accessible in all stages of life. Whatever is going on in your life, you can always access to devotional. You can always do devotional service because always chant. You can always read and hear about Lord in all difficulties and good times, bad times, all times. So life should be spent like that, in developing our attachment to Krishna more and more by hearing, reading, chanting, serving, like that. And you'll start finding relish and happiness there more and more. That's how you can become steady and grow in your spiritual life. Okay, I'll pause here. Yeah. Any reflection? Anybody want to share further? One 5230627 that mobile. You'd like to want to share something? I don't know who joins. We don't know. I hope the person is able to hear. Can you speak also? Or you can put on chat also in case you want to put something. Or no facility like that. I don't know how somebody can join through mobile. I'm not sure. There's a mobile number comes. Any reflection? Anybody wants to share? Okay, we'll pause here then. Prashant is also there?
No, Prabhuji. He's he's not with me right now.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Karthik, Tejas Prabhu, so when your exam is getting on 9th and then immediately you're going to Seattle or you'll stay back for some time?
Yes, I'm immediately going back.